everybody, and welcome to the 300 episode spectacular. I don't know why, but when I sit in this location, even without the tree behind me, I tend to get more views, so here we are again. I wasn't expecting 300 to come so quickly. I feel like we were just doing 200 moments ago, but thanks to my short videos featuring my cats, here is one of them. Oh, this is Java. She's not feeling super great today, so that might be her only moment in the video. Thanks to the shorts featuring my cats, we got there. I think one of them, one of the videos, I got like 9 subscribers from, which for me, for one video, is a lot. So thank you so much for subscribing. I hope that you enjoy the content. In the description below, I have a playlist of my favorite of my long form videos. I will continue making shorts and long form videos, so whichever one you were here for, don't worry, I'm gonna keep it coming. Because the video that made me get over 300 involved my kitty cats, who have both now abandoned me. Don't worry, Fortran will be, well, she was in here earlier. Anyway, I thought that I would answer some common questions about them. So I asked on Instagram and then also on my community tab here. We're gonna start with Instagram, which, by the way, if you responded, thank you. I've asked for questions and stuff in the past when I had fewer subscribers, and most of the time it's silence, or just, you know, boyfriend, family, people I know personally responding. So to get some from actual genuine people who I have not, you know, met in person meant a lot. We'll start over on Instagram. So there were a few, a bunch of questions that can be answered by how did I get my cats? The year was 2018, and a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, needed to get rid of his cats. That sounds terrible. And the reason that he told me, and the reason that he told everyone else that he was trying to get rid of the cats, were different. So I don't know what the truth was, but I was not told it was a secret or anything, so I don't know why. Was he just lying to me? So, person's not in my life anymore. Anyway, he told me that his sons were allergic to the cats. Oh, here's Fortran. Okay. Yeah. Hi. He told me that his sons were allergic to the cats, and these two in particular are very, very cuddly. If you've noticed from the shorts, that's a major theme there. And in the past, when I'd hung out at his house, Java, who I think is upstairs now, loved me. Like, from the first time I came over, she was my best friend. We were like soulmates. Her personality, I think, matches mine a lot of the time. This one, Fortran, was not named Fortran at the time, but we'll get to that. Anyway, so he was trying to get rid of, I think he had 3 or 4 cats that he needed to rehome, and he wanted them to go to good homes and everything. Oh, he told me that his sons were allergic. He told everybody else that he needed to get rid of the cats because his sons really wanted a dog. And so now they have a dog, so maybe that was true. Maybe they were both true. Anyway, we're not going to talk about him anymore, probably. Yes. What am I even saying? Cats. Oh, so I got Java first because we were best friends. I was only planning on having 1 cat, and I had a small apartment. I thought 1 cat was plenty. But in the first week or 2 weeks that I had her, she, in the evenings especially, would just like walk around the apartment seemingly looking for friends, and just like torties, which is like tortoiseshell, it's the coloring, are known to be kind of talkative, and so she'd just be like, hello, hi, anybody there? And it broke my heart, especially because at the time I was working 10-hour days with an hour commute each direction. So I just felt so bad that she was alone all the time, because cats, while they're advertised as being, you know, lonesome, like they can be on their own, they are still pack animals, and they still need friends and everything. So I talked to my friend, and said that he was still trying to rehome this cat, who at the time her name was Sweet Pea, is no longer. Her name is now Fortran, because she was not very sweet when I first got her, and Java is a programming language. Fortran's a programming language. I just thought it was cute for them to have themed names. Anyway, yes, I'm paying attention to you. So, I agreed to take Sweet Pea home, and they're actually sisters from the same litter. They were born in 2015, which means this year they are turning 8. They are middle-aged ladies. But they are just so wonderful. Oh, so when I agreed to take Sweet Pea, one of my hesitations was the pet deposit at the apartment I was living in at the time was like $300. And so my friend said that he would pay for half. Never got that check. So if you happen to be watching this, I believe you have my address. You can mail me a check. Anyway, so yeah, I took him home. Sweet Pea, Fortran, was a little bit standoffish for a while, but they both have very different personalities. Java is a lot more cautious. She, like when we're playing with the little fishing line toys, Java is much more cautious than Sweet Pea. Fortran, I never call her Sweet Pea. I don't know why it's starting today. So we would have to play where, like, I would sit on my bed, and Java would be on the bed, and Fortran would be on the ground, because Fortran, like, when she was in hunting mode, nothing else existed, including, like, Java, boxes, the wall. So there are a few times that Fortran would play on the bed, and basically every time she would end up falling off. And so then we established Java's hunting territories on the bed. Fortran's hunting territories on the ground. But they're both super sweet. Java was the runt of the litter, so if you see them next to each other, there's different markings. Their coloring is a little bit different, but the thing that most people notice is Fortran is quite a bit larger. Like, I think I need to take them to the vet. It's time for their yearly checkup and vaccinations and stuff. But usually Fortran's about 8 pounds and Java's about 5 pounds, if that gives you an idea. So even Fortran, in terms of cats, is on the smaller side. Oh my goodness. So that is their origin story. They do have a separate Instagram that I don't use a whole lot. When I first got them, and I wanted to post pictures of them all the time, I used it all the time. Now, I want to say I don't post pictures of them all the time, so it doesn't feel as bad to put them on my main account. Just because I know, like, not everybody is as interested in cat pictures as I am, so I didn't want to flood everyone's feeds when I first got them. But now it's not as many, but they're more on my main account. Anyway, I'll have their account linked below and my account if you'd like to follow. I share a lot of pictures of them and reels. The reels are very similar to the shorts. Anyway, let's see. So that answered how old are the cats? They're turning 8 this summer. I don't do like birthday parties or anything for them. Like if you do for your pets, great. Just not for us. I do tend to get them like special treats and presents and stuff, but also I get them presents and treats and stuff all the time. The way that people have responded, they're not all in the same place, so I'm searching. Alright. How did I come up with her name? So, like I said, Java. Her name, my friend named her Java Bean because she has a little like bean-shaped mark on her lip. But then I took that to be Java as a programming language, and so then when I got Sweet Pea, I renamed her to be Fortran Bean, because Bean is just their last name and their first names are programming languages. And I thought that was super cute and clever, but Fortran's not a very good cat name. But there weren't really, like, I was struggling coming up with a programming language other than Java that was a good cat name. Like, I was gonna go with Python for a while. That was like number 1 on my list. But then it felt weird naming a cat Python. I don't know. If I get another cat, what programming language should I name her after? Or him. It'll probably be her though. How many cats have I had in my life? I had a cat when I was very young, like up until kindergarten is when the cat was no longer in my life, because we moved in the place we were moving. We couldn't have a cat, so we gave him to my grandparents, I think. That's how that worked out. And then no more cats until these 2. I've had lots of dogs. Another question that's somewhere in the mix. It was basically about being a cat person versus a dog person, and I've always held that I'm both. I love any kind of fuzzy animal. Some of the non-fuzzy ones too, but the furry ones, they get me. But I've had lots of dogs in my life. With the way that I live my life, with travel, and also just sometimes life is really difficult for me to go outside. I had a dog in college, and it just became too much for me to take care of her because I also worked a lot of hours, and then she was stuck in the apartment all day, and that was terrible because she was a small dog, but she had a lot of energy. And then even when I wasn't working, there were some days where like I just had really depressive episodes, and I couldn't make myself do what I needed to do to take care of her, and so I had to give her away. And she lives with my parents now. They have a huge backyard that's fenced in that she can run to her heart's content. She's quite old now, so it's not as much as it once was. But she's very happy, and I love getting to see her when I go home for visits. If you see some of my old videos, she might be in them. How did I get my cats? Asked if they were rescues. Sort of. Not really. Actually, just before I got them, I was going to rescue a cat. I had gone to... There were several cat adoption animal shelter kind of pages for the area that I was living in. They all had like slightly different regions, but overlapped right around where I lived and hung out. So anyway, there's this one that was the cutest little like gray little boy cat, and a kitten really. And so I had emailed them, I had filled out the application to adopt that rescue cat, but then my friend needed to rehome his cats and also explained to me how challenging a new kitten is, especially for someone who has not had a lot of cats in her lifetime. So it was probably a good call that I did not rescue a baby kitten. They do enjoy working with me from home. Those videos are not staged. They're very much not staged. Also when I do my virtual classes, like a lot of times throughout the day they're just napping. Then as soon as I turn on my camera, even if I'm not talking, like I don't have a speaking part in the meeting, they still need to be right in front of the camera, and I don't know how they know when it's turned on. And then I've got some on my YouTube page that we'll go through. Somebody asked, what would I say is the yearly cost of keeping my cats healthy, fed, and entertained? I went through and I calculated their needs, which I didn't go back to the beginning. So for their like base needs, which is food, litter, and the vet, and they've got water fountains. Most cats prefer running water, so I've got these little like water filter fountain thingies, and so I have to buy the little filters for them. So those core base needs come out to about $750 a year for both cats combined. Then the keeping them entertained, they're very entertained by all of my Amazon boxes. So I could definitely do this for much cheaper than I do, but I probably spend probably on average like $50 a month, so another $600 on top of that. That sounds like so much. Spread out over the course of the year, it's not that much. And that's things like treats, toys. I bought a couple of new cat like post stand things, and I just try and mix it up. They have some favorites, mostly the Amazon boxes. Their favorite toy right now, pens and markers. They just carry them around. They will like I've got a little pen cup on my desk upstairs that there's probably about 15-20 pens that started off with them in there, and they will take the pens out of the cup and just carry them around. A lot of them end up downstairs, which is fine. I just put them on my coffee table, and then once I have a bunch, I carry them upstairs. That's definitely their favorite. But yeah, so I'd say also like you can get different food, different litter, different like things that are probably cheaper. I'd say like they say with kids, the second kid is going to be less expensive. Like if you have 2 kids, it's not as expensive as just doubling the cost of one kid. You know what I mean? So like they share all their toys and get discounts on going to the vet because they go together. So it's not as bad. They share litter boxes, although I would need fewer litter boxes if there's only one of them. So I don't know if that math quite works out. When I first got them, there's a bunch of stuff that I needed right away that I haven't had to repurchase, like the litter boxes and cat carriers and food dishes. There are some things that I have replaced just because they got worn out or I wanted better ones. Like they have 2 cat carriers that I use for short distances that are on the smaller side. And then I also have 2 that are much larger. When I moved from Georgia up to Wisconsin, they were in big cat carriers that took up my whole back seat, but I wanted to make sure that they had some room to move around on the drive and they weren't, all cramped up, because they're smaller cat carriers. I don't know if they can fully stand. I feel like Java can. Fortran, I think, still has to crouch a little bit. Anyway, is it cruel to have just one cat? Some cats, depending on how they're like raised and socialized, some cats are better off on their own. If you go to the Humane Society, animal shelter, whatever is in your area, a lot of times they'll be able to tell you for the specific cat how they're gonna be. Java, we weren't sure because the house that she was in, he fostered a lot of cats these two and a couple of others were fully his cats, and then he had a bunch that he would foster, and so they would come in and out all the time. She, being the teeny tiny baby that she is, got picked on a lot, and sometimes didn't get as much food as she needed because the bigger cats would kind of bully her, which was like really sad, but there's only so much that could be done about that. Like she was perfectly healthy when I got her, but because of how some of the foster cats had treated her, we weren't sure, like maybe she would have preferred the one-on-one kind of situation. But then, yeah. My interpretation of her behavior was she missed having a buddy, and with Sweet Pea being her sister, it made sense to me. And now Fortran, Sweet Pea's alter identity, is just the best. They're tied for the best cats. I'm sorry if any of you guys are thinking about getting a cat in the future. Like, I already have the best ones. Like, you can have the second best ones, but sorry about that. This was supposed to be a really short video because it was also like, oh, the shorts are what put me over the top, so people probably want shorter content. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm so happy that I got so many questions, so I'm going to answer as many of them as I can. Hi! Hi, it's Fortran. So it's a couple of days later from what you saw before, so I'm talking to you from the future, but not your future. I'm still in your past, but I'm in past Christiana's future. But I'm not going to get into time travel today. After I filmed that, you guys are so awesome, and I got some more questions. So I figured I would amend this, add them here. I did just take a shower, so that's why my hair looks like this. Would it have been better to film this pre-shower when my hair was all oily and gross, or post-shower where I don't like putting heat on my hair, so it is also all gross. You're very smelly. Did you just poop? You have poop on you? I don't want poop on me. So which cat makes the best cheeseburgers? Neither of them. They're both a couple of freeloaders, and they never make me dinner. They never pay for rent. They don't even have jobs. Although they have been getting a lot of subscribers on here, so if my channel ever starts making money, I guess it counts as them having a job. But yeah, no, neither of them have ever made me a cheeseburger, and I take it very personally. What's their favorite flavor of potato chips? They won't eat processed food. I have tried to feed them stuff off my plate before. The only thing that they will eat is if I have tuna that's not super flavored, like I sometimes get buffalo tuna. They don't like that, but just like plain tuna in a salad or something, they'll enjoy. And if I have like a cream-based dip or ranch, they'll try and lick that. Is ranch cream-based? What is it? I don't know what ranch is. Delicious, but I don't know what's in there. Anyway, but I've tried to feed them like Cheez-Its and potato chips and different things, and they're kind of snobs about it. Number 3, how long did it take you to learn their native language? I'm definitely not fluent. I do talk to them and meow at them, but I'm pretty sure I'm accidentally saying slurs and just kind of pissing them off. But they do, whenever I was getting ready to get the cats, or maybe after I got them, I don't know, in the early stages, I did a lot of research on cats and how to like be around them, because I hadn't had a cat since like I was 5. And so I learned about slow blinking at them and headbutts, and yeah, how to tell when I'm pissing them off and I should leave them alone. Tell us your favorite story about them. I don't know, I feel like I've told several stories. The one that pops into my head I hate having favorites, so this is not my favorite. This is just a memory that I treasure that popped into my head from that question. Is early on, Fortran got kind of sick. That's not good. But she hadn't really warmed up to me yet, but I had to give her medicine, and it was like, it was once a day or twice a day. I had to like wrestle her and had the little stopper things to give her a few drops of whatever. And that really bonded us. Like after that, I mean, she was a little wary anytime I would open the fridge and look at her, because that's where the medicine was kept. But it was like, after that she started like being more cuddly, so maybe she was just being standoffish in the beginning because her tummy hurt. I don't know. But then also every time that I've had to take her to the vet since then, in the office, she gets like really attached. And Java's always been the like more cozy, snuggly one. Fortran is just if she feels like it. Like right now, she wants your attention, but she'll still like, she's sitting next to me and just asking me to love on her. But in the vet's office, she will curl up so close to me and just like put her head like in my shoulder or in my elbow pit, and it's like, I've got you. And if she can't see the vet's office, they can't see her. And it's just, it feels so good knowing that she trusts me that much to protect her from the evil vet. Vets aren't evil. So then, last set of questions was on my YouTube community tab. How do you care for your pets when you're traveling? I try to only travel for like no more than 2 nights in a row. Sometimes I have to, but generally if I'm only gone for 2 nights, maybe 3 if I'm going to be back first thing in the morning, I just make sure they've got clean litter box, lots of flowing water, lots of food. They mostly eat dry kibble kind of food, so I can just leave that out for them. And then when I get back, they're so snuggly, and then I feel so bad for leaving them. And also, I'm not traveling with my boyfriend. He comes in and checks on them, and if I'm going to be gone for longer, then I definitely have somebody come in and check on them. I haven't done any trips that were longer than maybe, I think 5 nights was my longest one since having them, which is crazy because before I got the cats, I would travel for like weeks at a time, and I loved it, especially for work where I didn't have to pay for anything. Well, okay, so your next question is there separation anxiety for them? There's separation anxiety for me. Like, once you're so used to falling asleep with like a warm, I don't know, furry, purring little nugget, once you're like in a hotel room without a cat, it's real weird, and I just miss them so much the whole time that I'm gone. If I don't stay busy and I like have any time to sit still and think, I miss them so much. But is there any separation anxiety for them? Fortran, I don't think so. It's a little bit harder to tell with her. Java, definitely. She has what, like in humans, it would be trichotillomania or dermatillomania, which is a skin picking disorder or hair pulling disorder. And so Java has the feline equivalent of that. I don't remember what it's called. I'm not a veterinarian. I'm bad at knowing it because it's how it was explained to me. So anytime she gets stressed out, she starts really over grooming to the point where she makes herself bleed. And so if I'm traveling a lot, or sometimes during the season change, like when it goes to be winter. Supposedly that can trigger it. I haven't had her long enough to know if that's really the cause, but then also if I'm super stressed and acting really stressed, I think that she feels that, and so that also triggers it. She's feeling really better now. I think when I filmed the first part of this video, she was not doing so great. And if 4chan wasn't monopolizing the lap area and the chair area, I think she would be up here too. Anyway, what was I even saying? 4chan. Oh, so what do I do to like help her with that? Usually before I leave, I give them a new toy. I don't know if that actually helps, but some kind of like catnip toy. I make sure that I leave. They have like snuggly areas where I'll leave a hoodie that smells like me, like in the bed or whatever. And then what I've heard helps, but I didn't notice a difference, was you can get these cat like pheromone kind of, it seems like essential oils, but most essential oils are terrible for cats. These ones are made for cats. I had them for a while, but I wasn't noticing a difference. But some people swear by it, so if your cat has anxiety, you might want to try it. Oh, but if it gets really bad to the point where she is making herself bleed, sometimes she just has like a couple of weird patches of missing fur. If it gets to a point where she's making herself bleed, I take her to the vet and they give her a shot of steroids, and that is, I'm not a veterinarian, but it basically like resets her brain. That's the wrong way, but like it resets her emotional state long enough for her to like get back to normal emotional regulation. I'm putting all of these like human diagnostic terms on it because that's the only way that I can relate to it. If any actual veterinarians or like people who are smarter about cats than me are watching this, please let me know everything that I got wrong in the comments. For me and the kitty cats, they don't care what I call it or how I talk about it. They just care that I take care of them, and that is mostly through things that people who are smart about cats told me to do. Anywho, this video is now way too long, so now you're gonna go back to past me. I know that I'm also past me, but past me, you get it. Pros and cons of living with felines. They are so sweet and so snuggly. I love it. Cons are, I mean, you gotta clean up the litter boxes, which, I mean, that's true of any pet. You have to handle their waste. Sometimes they are a little bit too nocturnal for me. They'll wake me up in the middle of the night by walking over my face or whatever. Like, there's plenty of comics and memes and everything depicting it. But yeah, they sleep a lot. But then whenever they're awake, they want you to be awake as well. And sometimes that is at like 3 in the morning. And not the best. They do snuggle up to me at night, which is nice because they're like warm and cuddly, and that's so wonderful. Like, you have to be careful of what you have laying around because they'll eat anything that fits in their mouth pretty much, and that has posed a problem a couple of times where I had to take them to the vet to get that sorted. So then I got another comment that is a lot more about general cat things, and I told myself I was going to look up some of these answers before filming. Did not do that. 1 second. So one of the questions was, since cats are depicted so often as loving eating mice or chasing mice, catching mice, why isn't there any mouse flavored cat food? And the answer to that is because, well, it's kind of complicated. Basically, cat food is held to the same standards as human foods in a lot of regards by the FDA. And according to the FDA, rodents are not safe for consumption. Rodent meat can't be included as an ingredient in things. Now, why can't we just like create something that tastes like mice but doesn't include any mice in it? Why? What's the point? Cats also love chicken and fish and probably beef. I haven't tried that with my cats. But since we already have good protein that, you know, we have lots of processes for creating and we know what it tastes like and everything, why would we go out of our way to do all of that for something that we're not going to be like mass producing outside of the feline market? And I think the whole idea of cats liking mice flavored things, or liking the taste of mice, might be flawed in and of itself anyway. I don't know that they like the way that mice taste. I think that it is just a type of creature that is small enough for them to catch. Same with like bugs. My cats, as far as I know, we've never been in a situation where they've eaten a mouse, but they have caught a lot of bugs. And I have, in my old apartment, we lived in Georgia, and so there was this particular kind of bug that was just everywhere. There was no way to have a dwelling that did not include this kind of bug, and my last apartment was the closest. Anyway, but there were a lot of times that I would wake up and there would be a half-eaten one just on the floor somewhere, and it was gross. Does that mean that they like the flavor of the bug? No, it just means that they are predator animals and they caught the thing. So another question was, where does the whole them having 9 lives come from? And I just hit search. I'm not looking yet. I'm pretty sure it's going to be just that they are very agile and they tend to land on their feet. So in a lot of situations where other animals, especially humans, would take on a lot of damage, they're real bouncy and they survive. Well, the first search result that came up agrees with me that it's about the cats always landing on their feet. And apparently one of the first, or one of the early writings on this myth happened in Romeo and Juliet, which I did not know. Yeah, I just read another one. So it comes from an ancient proverb. So Shakespeare did not invent it, but an ancient proverb says, "A cat has 9 lives. For 3 he plays, for 3 he strays, and for the last 3 he stays." Origin of the myth is unknown. It has been around for a long time. Cats are believed to have 9 lives in part because they possess flexibility and agility. So yeah, that's probably the answer. Oh, is there a good way to keep them from scratching up their furniture? Have cheap furniture and just like don't care about it. There are probably ways, but I haven't really tried because I have cheap furniture and they live here and I don't care. Some things that have definitely helped are having lots of scratch posts around that when you get them, you put like catnip all over them, so then they're more wanting to scratch on those and get all scented up on there. But yeah, a lot of my furniture is fairly well destroyed thanks to the cats. But a lot of my furniture I got for free or very cheap on Facebook Marketplace, so I'm not really worried about it. I haven't had any, I mean, knock on wood, I haven't really messed with any of my wood furniture, just the couch and my like sitting chair, armchair thing. Yeah, you teach them when they're young. A friend of mine, claw covers, I guess, that look like you painted your cat's nails. And it was very cute. But so then if they did try to scratch things, they couldn't. I don't know if I agree with those. They seem good, like if you have small children and you need, like, the priority needs to be protecting the small children. The other thing that I do to minimize it is try to keep their nails cut short. I'm real bad at doing that. I used to be better, but I used to have a place that would do it for free, because these lovely ladies do not enjoy it, and so I needed professional help to get their nails cut, and now I have to pay money for it, which is, it's worth it, but I'm trying to find a way to be able to do it at home without, I'm terrified that I'm gonna cut it too short and then that's bad. Anyway, and then the last question, general about cats question is, why is it when cats put their head in a paper bag, they walk backwards with complete disregard to their safety? Now, we've got Fortune here, who frequently does things with complete disregard for her safety. So, what do you think, dear? She's being shy. But basically, my guess is, like, when they're in that situation where they have a paper bag on their head or whatever, their bigger safety concern is that you've taken away their senses, and so their concern is with that safety impairment. Ow! So they're trying to back up to get the bag off their head, which is not a very effective way of doing it, but they don't have thumbs, and they are quadrupedal, whatever, they've got 4 legs, no hands. So it's difficult for them to get the bag off their head, but they're concerned because they can't see, because their whiskers are getting probably bent out of shape. Their sense of smell is impaired. They don't like it when things are touching their ears most of the time. Sometimes they're okay with it if I'm like petting them and scratching behind their ears. They don't mind it. But so that's my guesses. But it's not that they have no regard for their safety, it's just that safety concern is much more important than any of the other ones that are going on at the moment. Thank you guys again so much for subscribing. If you stumbled upon this video and you weren't already subscribed, I hope that it has convinced you to subscribe somehow. I don't know. Thank you for being here. Comment down below. Let me know about your pets. Now you know all about mine. Yeah, answer any of the questions that would apply to you. Are you a cat person? Are you a dog person? Are you... I know one of the people who sent me comments has birds, which I think is just awesome. I've known a few people in my life who've had birds as pets, and it just seems complicated. Having them inside. I don't know. But I haven't spent a lot of time with birds, so that's probably my own ignorance. Anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. Here's to, the next 100. Maybe that will come quicker. Who knows? Hopefully I'm still above 300 when this posts, because I think there's one time where I made a video where I talked about the number of subscribers I had, and then by the time the video got posted, I had less. And that was embarrassing to me, and nobody else commented, so I don't know if anybody else noticed, but I knew. Anyway, I'm above that now, so that number, whatever it was back then. Good night, sweet dreams.